Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Kamala Harris gun confiscation going viral yet again. Now, this is brought to us thanks to the good old X Twitter. Specifically, this is from RNC Research, which, interestingly enough, does some research. Republicans are slowly but surely becoming less inept, perhaps. I mean, I would think the last time they used technology was a VHS tape. I only partially kid, as Democrats are much infinitely better at utilizing technology mechanisms through raise campaign funds and get people elected. But nevertheless, going to the actual good old tweet, they say, quote, flashback, Kamala Harris says mandatory gun confiscation is a great idea, and that she'll do it by executive action within her first 100 days. And it's kind of funny. I usually say what they're, usually say, oh yeah, what they have to say is definitely more, more eloquent than myself. In this case, not to be too bombastic or confident about my speaking abilities, but I was going to say it's not tall order, but yeah, in this case, maybe not so much.
Adding to your gun control agenda?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said, my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
Mentally vacuous and evil. And also unconstitutional, though granted that they don't really care about that anymore. A friendly reminder, thank God to the Supreme Court, they have ruled you cannot ban guns that are in common use. Which, when it comes to controversy, the gun control of the United States, one of the biggest controversies is carry black rifles, which I think all rifles are great, regardless of design, make, or manufacturer, or color. But they're talking about the AR-15, which, hilariously, is technically, if you buy an old enough one, it's considered an antique, ironically manufactured and engineered and patented in California by good old the genius Eugene Stoner at Arborlight. And it's been used, it's one of the most successful firearm designs in history. Now, in terms of banning a gun in common usage, over 50% of all new rifles sold in the United States are of the AR-15 pattern style variant. Partially because the patent is long expired, so anyone with the proper federal licensing can manufacture them for sale. Or, if your state allows, on a federal level, you can manufacture your own firearm for your own personal ownership. You cannot sell it because then you become a manufacturer. Special licensing needed for that. Though I don't think you should need it as libertarian, most of my opinions like that. But nevertheless, it's an issue where even if she were to the executive order saying we're going to ban this rifle, we're going to force mandatory gun buybacks, which is de facto confiscation. Because again, if you do not comply, your life will be prematurely ended or you'll be in jail. It's a confiscation. It's what the British tried to do. And yeah, it just won't. It won't happen. Maybe this is like the abortion issue, where she is raising millions of dollars fooling mentally vacuous Americans who do not realize that, again, the Supreme Court said after we're going to overturn this, Roe versus Wade, it is back to the state level. Yet she's saying, oh yeah, with the executive order, we can make abortion legal everywhere. No, if you want to make change on that specific topic, go on a state level, either propose a bill or talk to your legislators and get a vote going. It won't happen on a federal level again. Now, well, unless they pack the Supreme Court, which they also have said they might do that now. Now, again, in terms of gun confiscation, that's not going to fly for a lot of Americans, especially one of the few silver linings of the pandemic when you had district attorneys order the police to, oh yeah, just stand there and do nothing. Famously, what was it? Was it Baltimore or Oregon? There's some place where they literally said, oh yeah, just let them tire themselves out. And I believe Chicago with the former Beetlejuice, Lori Lightfoot, he literally said, oh yeah, instead of having the mob go to the financial district, police reroute them to go to the homes where people live. Go to that area of the community. And people soon realized the police were not helping them, and they needed to defend themselves. You had record amounts of new gun ownership in the United States during the pandemic. Anecdotally speaking, one firearm store owner that I spoke to, he said that for the first time in 10 years, the first Saturday after the pandemic hit, well, there's a line out the store of more than 35 people, over half of which were first-time gun owners, many of them buying the famous product known as the AR-15, which is manufactured or created by hundreds of manufacturers in the United States, and is one of the most reliable feats of engineering bar none, though perhaps, of course, only second to Mikhail Kalashnikov's the AK-47. Another debate for another time, perhaps. But this went pretty well. I got 1 million views, and she will raise millions of dollars on this bullet point. And again, this is from a couple years ago. And to give Biden credit, during the 2020 primary, he said during the debates, when they were talking about gun control, he said, you can't do that on executive order. I would work with Republicans and Democrats in the House and Senate to trample on the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Well, I changed the words a little bit, but Biden did admit you cannot do that on any executive order, and that if they wanted to make gun law changes, they would have to work in that mechanism, that route. And during that debate in 2020, she famously said, "Oh yeah, I'll just do executive order. After 100 days, I don't get what I want." And this is going viral yet again. And again, given her ideologies, I don't think she's going to change her mind or change that statement. And if she does, I don't know anyone who's, I hope no one actually believes her. Now, going to the comments, which are also usually pretty darn interesting. One of the first ones comes from Reject Degeneracy saying, clowns say clown things. And just a picture of Kamala Harris on a Wednesday afternoon. Oh, no, wait, that's her painted as a clown. Got 187 likes. We also have Logic Facts, Reality Matters, saying Kamala says she's violated the Second Amendment in her first 100 days. That's a great campaign style, Logan. Getting 457 likes, which, yep. Paratrooper Brady says the Constitution is pretty clear, Tommy, getting 670. No, 671. Whoa, 2-3 likes right there. Going down more and more. Perkles the Great says, protect your family. Kamala would use executive action to confiscate guns if no legislation that does that first 100 days. Has she heard of the Constitution? I don't know if she could read that much. Unfortunately, I think there should be an exam or tests everyone in D.C. should have to take a couple times a year to assure they actually read documents by the Founding Fathers and know what the Bill of Rights and the Constitution are. Unfortunately, I don't think many of them could pass one of those exams. Left and right, mind you. And then you have a picture after that statement with a mother with a good old vintage, it looks like, well, I don't know if it's vintage, but the style is a break action shotgun holding a child. It says, a gun in the hand is worth more than the entire police force on the phone. True, getting 675 likes. Interestingly enough, the side that claims to quote unquote be on women's, fight for women's rights and fight for the protection of women are the same people that want to disarm women, which is the most disgusting, mentally, morally vacuous thing you can do. One of the best quotes that I've heard of in my life, and I guess you need a little background for the quote, Samuel L. Colt. He was the genius who patented the first successful revolver. They had many before, but they had misfires that weren't properly. He was, and again, he founded the Colt Company, which is now renowned as one of the best, well, they've been bought and sold and banked a couple times, but one of the most famous names in firearm history. And there's an old quote saying, God created man, but Samuel L. Colt made man equal. Very true. Because again, a firearm is a great way to level the playing field against again, on average, women are they weigh much less and are much less strong than men. However, give her a firearm, she can fight off any attacker. I think every woman should have a firearm. It should be properly trained, and it's disgusting that some states actually do not allow to have more concealed carry. Another topic for another time, perhaps. But yeah, I would argue that the people on the right actually care more about women, but no topic for another time, or no debate for another time, perhaps. Super Duper Elite says executive orders don't override the Constitution, getting 430 likes. True. You got Left Goat Vagrant saying, no Kamala, you'll do no such thing, getting 224 likes. Pray for Rain says, will the people confiscating the guns have guns, getting 174 likes, which one of my favorite hypocrisies of politicians when they try to ban guns, when they're usually the people who have 5 to 6 people surrounding them at all times with guns that are better than we can buy and more efficient than we can buy in terms of those that are fully automatic, which if you and I want to buy a full-on machine gun, you can if your state allows you, and it was manufactured and registered with the U.S. government before 1986, thanks to the disgusting NFA Act. And of course, you have to pay a $200 tax stamp and do a bunch of BS paperwork. But of course, no paperwork is needed because, again, government officials are above the law. Nick the Trader says, not going to be a pretty sight in the U.S. if she tries to pass this, getting 112 likes. Scroll down more and more. So any contrarian statements? Because again, I mean, there are some people, I was about to say Americans, there are people who live in America who are technically citizens who believe in gun confiscation. They think that only the government should have guns. Which again, if they ever read a history book, you would see that every time, historically speaking, that the government is the only one that has guns, is one of the most evil things in history happens. And it happens every time they disarm the populace. It's not like an outlier, like, oh yeah, it happened one time. No, it's a formula. Every time that happens, it's always right before worst things in history. Pretty Girl MAGA says, the people of Venezuela had their guns confiscated as well. I hope Americans are listening to what this communist says. She means it, getting 58 likes, which, I mean, I do think she's authentic. I mean, Kamala seems to mean what she is saying, which I guess as a politician is moderately rare, but in this case should also horrify every American. Mark Fisher says, the party that tried to jail their opposition intends to erase your Second Amendment rights. The party of open borders and cancel the police is just, weird. Getting 106 likes. Julie Ann says this makes her immediately disqualified to be in government, getting 79 likes. Yeah, it should. Because it's not already a law or a rule. If you don't believe in the Bill of Rights, you should not be a part of the government. Going down more and more. Burke Macklin says good luck with that, getting 37 likes. Paul Scalisi says try that in a small town, getting 58 likes. Sad part is they would just send in the U.S. military, who has, if you ever played the game Risk, has pretty much the winning thing, which is the supply chain. And again, your local police, they might be great, they might stand up for your rights, maybe. But what if the police from another town comes on over? What if they send in the National Guard? What if they send in the U.S. military, the Army, Navy, the Marines, everything? They have pretty much unlimited resource allocation and supply chains. So, horrifying to think about. Mike R has the iconic meme where you have someone looking at someone else's paperwork and cheating. It's Kamala cheating, looking over at Venezuela, getting 10 likes. Now, granted, in terms of let's see here. Oh, this is, well, I'm biased a little bit because my family escaped the hellhole that is Cuba. So I'll read this meme, or meme, as some people might call it. Pine Pearl 829 said, and it's a picture of Fidel holding a cigar, Fidel Castro. It says, quote, what does the government do once it disarms its citizens? Anything it wants. Quote, true, getting 6 likes. It'll be interesting to see how much this moves the political needle, how much, in terms of moves on political chessboard. Again, she will raise millions of dollars on that bullet point because there are a lot of people who hate guns and think that only the government should have guns. So she'll raise campaign funds with these types of messaging. And people who traditionally are Second Amendment, as unfortunately, I don't think Second Amendment should be a political issue. I think every American should be pro-gun. They should be pro-civilian guns because, again, how our country is founded in just history and, modicum intelligence. But I don't like the fact that it's become a political issue with traditionally Republicans being more pro-gun and Democrats being anti-gun. Also disappointing when there's a lot of rhinos in the Republican Party who don't actually get more gun rights, get our gun rights back. Again, it's been almost 100 years since they passed the NFA Act, also known as the National Firearms Act of 1934. You still have that crap on the books? Really? And Republicans had the House, they had the Senate, and the White House a couple years back. They still didn't get that off the books. But I partially digress. Do you think people will start to wake up the fact of how radical Kamala Harris is in this regard? Do you think the people who are already pro-gun are already not going to like her to begin with? And again, this video is coming full circle in terms of going more viral again. A lot of these videos are from 2020 from the Democratic primary. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, giving me a thumbs up or thumbs down or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.